In a distant battlefield somewhere, terrible magic is about to be unleashed. Malekith and Celestra prepare to battle, two masters of magic. As the two wizards enter into combat, the ground begins to glow. A rift opens in the sky, and as black and purple lightning crackles, the air itself erupts, a comet dropping out of the void and plummeting towards the ground. Whistling as it tears towards the surface, the comet picks up speed before shattering against the dirt, throwing Celestra into the ground. She gathers herself and rises, taking a moment to gather her wits. Malekith begins to cast Spirit Leech, slowly draining the life force of Celestra to heal his own wounds. He stands his ground as Celestra's ghostly form covers the distance between them in seconds, both wizards charging forward to clash in the center of the battlefield. After their collision, Celestra begins to sing, causing her to float into the air. The fog of the damned begins to fill the area, decreasing Malekith's visibility, his movement speed, and his morale. Her ghostly notes are full of magical energy, and sensing the growing magic, Malekith pounces, attempting to interrupt her next spell. His efforts are fruitless, however, as even though the attack smashes through Celestra and launches her through the air, she completes her casting regardless. With the sound of waves crashing on the shore, reality itself is torn, creating a pathway to the darkest depths of the ocean. Erupting from this gateway, at Celestra's command, emerge four giant rotting Prometheans. These fearless, huge crustaceans waste no time in tackling Malekith, eager to harm those who would threaten their summoner. Knocked down, enveloped by a horrifying fog, under assault by giant crabs, and injured, Malekith slowly rises to his feet. With failure not an option, he goes to work on the nearest crustacean, cutting gaping wounds in its shell. The battle continues to rage, with Malekith a blur of flashing steel as he attempts to cut his way out of this encirclement. With a shout, he unleashes a second Spirit Leech, and the fog changes from black to purple as the Spirit Leech uses the life force of everyone around him to begin to mend his wounds. Gritting his teeth, Malekith summons a chill wind. He braces for the incoming locomotive of ice, but his enemies are not so lucky. Unprepared for this assault, the rotting Prometheans squeal in horror as two-storied geysers of ice erupt through their bodies. At that same moment, a second portal opens, and more rotting Prometheans enter the battlefield. Celestra cackles as she begins to sing yet another song. Malekith grits his teeth, shrugs off the most recent blast of cold, and launches himself at the nearest enemy. Let's take a look at the magic interface in Total War Warhammer. The large circle is your winds of magic, and shows you how much magic you have the current ability to use to cast your spells. Your Winds of Magic Reserve is extra mana you will slowly acquire over time within the battle. Once this reserve is empty, you cannot use any more spells. And this small button will tell you what type of spell it is. Alright, now let's take a look at an actual spell. So this here is the name of your spell. Next we have the type of spell that we're going to be casting. After that is a spell's duration, or how long its effect will last on the battlefield. This arrow will display the spell's range in meters, as well as what possible targets you can use this on. Below target we have the restrictions on the spells or effect. Underneath that we have the area in which all effects, both positive and negative, will be displayed for the spell that you have selected. Up in the top right we have the cooldown timer, which will show you how long you must wait before you can use this spell again. Next to that is the number of charges or uses that you can have of this effect in a single battle. And then finally the last area here, which is actually not displayed because this is a lowered ability, but this is generally where the amount of wind of magic necessary to cast a spell would be displayed. Thank you for visiting Victory Through Failure, and consider watching some of our other videos in the Total War Warhammer series.